live in 3, 2, 1. All right. Welcome back to another week of The Fuse with the Route Fusion co-founders, formerly known as Fintech with Friends, also known in our group chat as the Fuse Daddies.
Could be Fuse with Friends.
Fuse with Friends. Oh, wow.
It's pretty good.
Fuse with Friends.
Richard actually suggested that already.
Did he? That was good, though.
I believe so.
I may have. I don't remember.
I'm not going to name this
But
thing.
I just did now. I remember that.
And you got to add some SEO in there. Fuse with Fintech Friends.
Fuse with Friends.
Fintech Friends. We're just going to keep on riffing on this, I think, every show until we really figure it out.
Fuse with the Fintech Daddies. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I wonder. Think we can get any comments in the comment reel on what the name of the podcast should be?
It'd be nice.
It'd be really nice. So there's your opportunity.
Yeah.
3 listeners.
Get in there. So Nabs, you mentioned that your son officially thinks you're his hero now.
Yeah.
If he
finally.
didn't already,
It took 9 years.
what happened?
He found out that we're on a podcast that posted on YouTube. I've lost my voice today because I've been a little bit under the weather, so I won't be talking as much.
No, you lost your voice because you've been closing so many deals.
So many deals.
Nice.
There you go. I think that's great, though. Has Zaki seen any of the...
No, but
Podcast
this
yet?
conversation happened before school drop off, so I'm sure that tonight he's going to want to watch
Yeah.
some YouTube videos.
You think
He's been banned from YouTube for the remainder of the year, so we might have to break that rule.
Yeah, but do you think he definitely has access to YouTube at school? No?
No.
Either like...
No.
They probably
Either
have it
from one
blocked.
of his friends or...
No, they
Think
probably
have
have
it blocked.
Well, because Zaki has Wi-Fi at school, like they have the computers.
Yeah, they're on the computers all day long.
But they have a
it's
firewall
blocked.
for it.
Yeah. So I
For
blocked
YouTube?
it. I
It's so
blocked it at home
educational.
too.
Yeah, but think about all the bad things.
No,
that are on
I-
YouTube.
YouTube
Sure.
Kids is
Oh,
got
YouTube
a lot
Kids
of
is-
gamers who are constantly screaming at the game Minecraft and Roblox and all that
Remember,
sort of stuff.
so our high school was like one of the first to have laptops. Every student had a standard issued laptop or whatever, and that was one of the most fun things, is like staying ahead of the IT guys for like sites that would be banned. Right? So it was like a game. But this was like right around like my freshman year of high school. Like Facebook started.
Was this like during E-Bombs World? And
Yeah. E-Bombs World. Well, this is like when everyone started getting on Facebook, like high school kids at least. And yeah, it was great. There was a good.
We got our first computers when I was in grade 11, and they were Commodore 64s. Commodore 64s. We used to use typewriters before that for,
that...
keyboard practice.
You're really dating yourself.
Yeah.
Typewriters? That sounds so painful.
We switched to Apple's a year later, the big one with the modern.
Yeah.
I forget what model it was, but it was.
You went
ancient.
from typewriters to Commodores to Mac?
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't Mac, it was
Public
Apple.
school system couldn't decide.
Personal computer.
Anyway, and there was only a handful. I mean, the whole school had to share the same computer lab,
Yeah, we did this. We had the same thing. Had like a computer lab.
and you had to be in the class, sign up for computer science.
figured
The
out-
important part was Oregon Trail on the computer? It's too
I have no
early.
idea.
Oregon Trail.
I-
No, that was too early.
Too early, right?
Yeah.
I didn't take computer class, computer science.
I
You had to be in it to access the computers.
in public school in the computer lab. I don't know how we did it, but me and this kid figured out how to get into the admin section and started looking at everyone's grades. We could change our grades.
Did you?
It's very
No,
Ferris
that
Bueller.
scared. Like there was
Viewing was exciting enough.
that was yeah. I was like, if I change my grade, like I think I'm gonna get in trouble. But that was fun.
I bet you there was no audit trail.
We changed like teachers' backgrounds on their computers. So that was fun.
Yeah.
But
What? From Caucasian to African American? Is that what you mean? Or
what?
their backgrounds?
No, like
No, like their wallpaper.
Oh, the wallpaper.
no, like you could like log in and like see a user, so you would find your teachers, and then like you could see like desktop background image or something like that.
No, I think background, because it's the most annoying question to answer on every survey and every medical form. What's your background?
What's your background?
Yeah, what do you have to? What do you answer?
I mean, I could be a lot of different things, but
That's why you don't.
I
that's
pick
why I
other.
hate it so much.
other. And then there's a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Non-Hispanic, Latino, or I forget what it is. I'm like, okay.
That's so funny. You know what's weird? The past week, I mean, look, we've been like doing things at Route Fusion, so we've all been probably like working a little longer hours than normal. My schedule has been like leave the office, go home, eat. Luckily, Nikki has like been making dinner, which is awesome. But then like at 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're getting in bed.
It's great life.
Wow.
It's insane. And then
It's a
sleeping
great
and waking up at like 5, 6 o'clock. But like, it's just weird being in, it's like, I'm
Wow.
like, I go home, I eat, and then we go to bed. It's so random.
It's called aging.
I was about to say, welcome to your 40s and your 30s.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, wait till you start your 6 p.m. nap
6
or
p.m.
a mid-afternoon nap or something like that. Then you're really old.
Do you regularly have a mid-afternoon nap?
I don't have any naps. I get 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep every night.
I think that's how you know you're getting older, is when you only need 5 hours of sleep.
Honestly,
I couldn't do
It's
it.
usually the reverse.
Honestly, I function
No.
better on like 6 or 7 hours of sleep versus like 8 or 9. Like
Wow.
8 or 9 hours, like I feel kind of tired all day, but like 6 or 7, I'm up and I'm alert. It's really weird. Really weird. Probably has to do something with the sleep cycle.
Wow. I can do 6 hours like 1 to 2 nights in a row. If I do 6 hours more than 2 nights in a row, I'm in serious trouble. Day 3, I need 7 or 8 hours.
7.
I
Yeah.
set 7 minimum. That's typically my minimum. I'm good after 7.
The other day, Elliot slept for 14 hours.
Oh, sweet.
It was insane. She sat there and she was like, Mama, at 5:30, she's like, sometimes kids get tired. And Nikki was like, okay. She's like, can I go to sleep in your bed? She's like, yeah. 5:30, out. Didn't wake up the next day until like 9 or something like that. It was insane.
Wow.
Speaking of sleeping, your Rottweiler sleeps all day. He's off camera, but
Yeah, Vito's,
Vito, one of our office dogs, constantly sleeping,
yeah.
blocking the
goes.
bathroom.
Well,
Anyway.
before we jump in, Rich, how was your trip to Jackson, also known as Jackson Hole?
It was great. Pretty much did everything that I said we were going to do on last podcast. So it all went well.
What was the highlight?
What was the highlight?
You ran into a client. We can't name names, but
Well, that
That was
was
nice.
that was awesome and totally unexpected. I was really thrown aback,
So give us the break. How did this happen? Yeah.
or taken aback rather. We were in a knife store. There's a really awesome knife store in
knife
store in the town square of Jackson. It's a local company. It's like 16 miles away from Jackson, and they have a store where they sell knife sets, individual knives. They sell cast iron kitchen equipment. They sell like cutting boards, like a bunch of different assorted kitchen supplies, but typically all with metalwork. And it's all handmade blacksmith stuff. It's really awesome stuff. Bought a knife for over $500.
You bought a knife?
Yeah, it's a Santoku knife.
yeah.
Oh, you got a nice
bought
kitchen
one,
knife.
I bought
I got a
one
nice
for
kitchen
the same
knife.
price last
It's
year,
got-
but in Lakeway.
It's got an elk
Yeah.
elk
Handle?
antler handle. It's really cool. It's got the Tetons engraved in the side of the knife.
That's cool.
It's really neat.
Are you gonna use it, or are you just gonna keep it on display?
No,
You have to use this.
no.
Carbon
I'm
steel?
gonna use it like every day.
It's a good. What kind of steel? Carbon?
I'm not sure what kind of steel it is.
So like I think Japanese knives are carbon, and whereas like German chef knives stainless, or forged or whatever. But the difference being, I don't know the exact technical details, but if it's more of like a Japanese steel, you got to be careful with it because it'll chip.
Yeah, because there's more carbon in it.
I've got two.
It's not Valerian steel, is it?
It's not Valerian.
It's not Valerian.
No.
I've got two little Japanese paring knives.
Yeah.
Both of them, the
Chip?
tips of them, like the point, they're flat because
well, you should just sharpen it out and
I've
just
tried.
create a new.
It won't.
I have sharpening stones. If you
No, I
want
mean I took it to a professional.
Oh,
Yeah,
and he was like,
he was like, "I'll try," and then I got it back, and it was the exact fucking same.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're great knives.
But the knives are great. Other than that,
Yeah, they're awesome. But I think it's also because like today, I'm unloading the dishwasher this morning, and I opened the like little top thing. Nikki put one of my knives in there.
Yeah, they don't go in there, man.
I was
hand
like,
wash.
Nikki.
yeah, that's no way.
Luckily, it was like one of my oldest knives. It's like a 10-year-old like Wusthof 14-inch
Yeah,
chef's
but they
knife.
don't go bad.
They don't, but I'm just like, at least it was that knife
You just get
and
them
not
sharpened.
like one of my
Sure.
Japanese knives. That would have made me
Sure.
upset.
So anyway, so catch this. So now you have an idea of at least one knife can be $550
Right.
or more. They sell knife sets. How much do you think?
3,000, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like the set would be a couple knives and
Some steak knives.
I'm gonna go with like a nice
like
even.
3,000.
I'm gonna go with a nice like 5,000.
Yeah. Okay. 19,500.
What?
What?
It's a car.
You get the knife brick and everything. So
The brick. What? 19.
it's just they're making shit up. I couldn't believe. I mean, it's like, don't get me wrong, extremely high quality stuff, or it seems to be. And like a lot of these knives are all Damascus steel and everything, which is truly impressive. But I mean, there's no market for that, right? They're in Jackson, which is, there's a ton of high net worth individuals that vacation there or, have homes there. And they're just, I think they're just creating demand with their pricing.
That's hilarious. So, all right, they definitely are. It's like
You
classic,
lost
like if it's priced high enough,
Right.
people are gonna value it.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
like went to the extreme.
They
edge
went to
of
the
that.
extreme. Because I'm like, how many, they probably sell a decent amount of those a year.
Yeah.
And like, how many of those do they really need to sell? Like, they probably need to sell, they sell like one a month. And
I wonder if they make them
Plus
or if
the
they have
regular-
like
what-
local guys that make it, and like that's just on what consignment.
no, it's
Like
it's
they
a,
make
it's
it.
a company
Yeah.
that
They probably have a
is
call list,
local.
like repeat clients. Oh, by the way, we just made this set. Are you interested?
that's not the
It's
way it
like,
was described to me. I mean, it's possible, but
Well, speaking of Damascus steel, I got a funny story. So when we first moved to Austin, there's have y'all been to the Fredericksburg like flea market or whatever? They have it once a month on every Friday or once a quarter every third Friday, some type of schedule like that. So we go out there and I meet this guy who makes knives. He's like talking, he's got like long hair, kind of shorter dude. And he was like showing me off this Damascus steel knife, that beautiful knives, hunting knives, like also just really awesome, all handmade by him. And I didn't know what Damascus steel was because it kind of looks a little bit different, right?
yeah.
So I was like, oh, this guy just like is not very good at his job, like. Like in my head, so I didn't buy
never
it
seen a knife like
because
that
I never seen a
before.
knife like that. But meanwhile, like he also was missing like 4 of his half fingers. Like,
oh no!
like this dude was like the real deal. Like,
Wait.
Let me
like-
test this knife on myself.
Like-
wait. Was it like a cut like this?
no. Like it was like his ring finger, like half was gone. His index finger, like the tip of his finger was gone. Like his middle finger on his right hand, like was half. Like I was like,
Oh my gosh. You think he's just in the shop like, damn, lost another one.
yeah, I think that's what it is, man. Like this, he was like, I hand forge all of
jeez.
these knives, and I'm like, I can tell, real blacksmith over
Yeah.
here.
So, do you know what Damascus steel is?
Yeah.
Matt? Okay,
Heard of it.
cool. Yeah. So, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically a forging process where you fold the steel, and then when the knife eventually comes out, you can see the folds as lines in the steels, and it can create a really pretty
So
pattern.
it's a process invented or created in Syria, or do those blades come from Syria, Damascus?
Why does it have it? No, I don't.
Damascus steel. Does that have anything to do with it?
I don't know that it has anything to do with Syria.
Well, we're about to
Oh,
find
find
out.
out.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I just
where does
had watched a lot of Forged in Fire,
Damascus-
which was on History Channel, I think.
Damascus-
And I've learned more than I need to about
knives.
forging steel. Yeah.
Damascus steel is the forged steel blades of swords smithed in the Near East from ingots of Wootz steel, either imported from southern India or made in production centers in Sri Lanka or Khorasan, Iran.
Khorasan.
Interesting. Do you guys want to know what the secret of Damascus steel is? The secret of the material is the high carbon content. Up to 20 times as much carbon as standard mild steel.
20 times. Wow.
That's wild. Well, that was a fun little intro. Let's jump into some fintech news. Why don't we? So I'm on the Fintech Radar, issue number 98. And honestly, this week was has been kind of boringish news. Nothing too crazy has come out. So that means, you know what that means? We'll probably have another week of pretty slow news, and then boom. Or with the things that are going on in Colorado, or the Supreme Court today at the Colorado thing, that could spark a bunch of stuff. We'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about it later, but
That's going to cause some division.
yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Anyway,
So the news grab bag. Apple Card. Do you guys use Apple Card?
I do.
The physical card or?
Just in general, do you have an Apple Card?
Yeah.
Okay. It tops 12 million users. And last year, they said they paid back in like a cashback program $1 billion. Interesting. I don't
I
really.
got my cash back already.
Like their
I
cash
like that
back
card.
paid back $1 billion.
$1 billion. What's their.
Which is what, 1 to 3%. So let's say take an average of 2%.
It's a lot of money.
So that's quite a bit.
Additionally, more than 1 million users are sharing the card via family sharing. Do y'all use family sharing?
Yep.
What is that?
Basically, on your phone, you can share your drive, your all the storage that you have in the cloud, and the cards, right? So
You can like
when
assign
my son
Parneet.
wants to buy more Robux, he can say purchase. I got a notification on my phone to approve it or deny it, and then it goes on to the Apple Card.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And almost 600,000 users are building credit equally with their spouses or partners.
And that's the most valuable thing with that card. It's really great that way.
Well, I mean, you have like a lot of other, Self here in town, James, former CEO,
Yeah.
founder. Self does the whole. They kind of. I don't want to know. I don't know if they started the trend, but they were definitely one of the early movers of building like a credit building tool.
Building credit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty. I mean, they're huge. They sponsor the Moody Center.
They sponsor the Moody Center.
Yeah, if you
now?
walk around the Moody, it's all like you see self signs everywhere.
Get
Pretty
outta
wild.
here.
Yeah.
It's awesome what they've.
I wonder though when they're gonna move into like being more of a neobank, right? Like they have everything they need. At what point do they make that switch into saying like, hey, let's turn this up a notch. Like let's really be, and maybe they're working on it. I don't know.
Do you know what their moneymaker product is?
It's their self-lender.
It still is that.
Yeah, that's their moneymaker. And I think they like added like different subscription tiers so that maybe it's like the frequency that they report to the agencies. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would think like if you're self, like why not just be a bank at some point?
At that
that's
point.
well, because like if you look at like what Apple's doing, Apple started out as, hey, like let's offer the Apple Card, and there's been some drama between Apple and Goldman that's been in the news. But like, and I don't know how successful $1 billion in daily cash rewards are. Like, I'd be interested to know like Chase Card, like a Sapphire, like how much do they pay out in rewards every year? That'd be cool. But it's like they offer the bank card, and Apple being a tech company, even though they are a tech giant, like they're still innovating on this end. And now all of a sudden, it's like they've expanded services into building credit, right? But they also have the interest that they're earning on these accounts, and interchange, and what else are they going to get into with the Apple Card? It's pretty cool. But you would think someone like Self would eventually move into that area.
Well, they have all the risk data.
They have everything.
Yeah.
I think they'd be one of the most powerful like neobanks, like new banking providers. Like they would rival Chime easy. Easy.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used my Apple Card the other day on accident. I'll tell you what, though. So I just started recently using the Face ID. I never really liked using Face ID before.
I've never set it up.
It's actually quite handy. I was at the coffee shop, and I went to pay. And the biggest problem that I have with Face ID and Apple Pay together is in order to activate Apple Pay, you have to first go to the wallet, select your card, right? Then set it next to the terminal.
And hold your face to it while
And then
it's
it's like, show me your face. And then you're like, face.
Oh, that's annoying.
And then you have to put it back there and double click. It's like
that doesn't make sense.
It's such a massive.
Are you sure that's the?
I do it every single time. It's
You
such.
can't unlock it with your face and then just click, because that's how I do with the passcode. I just unlock it with the passcode, and then it's ready to receive NFC, and then I tap it
on the passcode. It's a much better experience. But like because of the Face ID, the way that it's like up, down, double click, go.
I miss the fingerprint. Why did we get rid of the fingerprint?
What was the fingerprint?
They used Apple had not for very long, but they had the fingerprint authentication before the Face ID. You remember that?
Little circle on the bottom.
It was when there was still a button.
Oh,
it was the last button. I don't care about the button.
Just like we have.
I don't see why a screen can't read my fingerprint anywhere on screen.
Would love to have a button back on the iPhone though.
Button's nice, sure, but I just want the fingerprint. I just don't want. I don't want the biometrics of my face. I'm fine. I don't know why. But
they don't share that anywhere. The biometrics
that?
Just live on your device.
Yeah, that's what they tell me.
I mean, that's Apple's whole thing, the privacy, right?
It's like having the climate control, either electronic touchscreen or actual dials, right? So it's the same sort of argument. Which one do you want?
Is it?
Yeah, I think climate control should always be buttons and dials. Should never be on a screen in a car.
Oh, I agree. So Nikki's.
So what about the Nest? Does that count? I mean, it's still
no. I'm talking about when you're in your car.
Yeah.
When you're in your car.
I'm with you.
Oh, got it. I see what you're saying.
Like Nikki's car, the Suburban or whatever.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It has a touchscreen, sure, but then underneath the touchscreen, it has all the same controls. As buttons.
But what if
switches?
What if you had dedicated touch interfaces for climate control in the car? So you didn't have to go through
climate control.
Yeah, you didn't have to go through settings to access climate control. It's just dedicated.
Cool.
I think because I think that's the strife, right? It's like, why do I have to go through?
There's still some value with analog. That's what I think. Like,
oh yeah, totally.
Touch and feel.
Agreed.
Like, our children are not going to be driving cars.
No, I think I think you're gonna see a pushback back to some of these like more primitive technologies. Like it's classic for everyone to go like so far one way to like all screen,
Yeah.
and then at some point in a few years, like people are gonna start bringing back more of the button
It's like
aspect.
fashion.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
all
fashion,
cyclical.
and all of a sudden it's gonna be, oh, I love this. It's so great.
Well, I mean, manual transmission. They said that about manual. How hard is it?
Well,
it's like so hard to find a new car in manual.
In Europe,
Yeah, it's tough now unless it's a
in
sports
Europe,
car.
it's still like
yeah.
70% of all cars are manual.
Yeah, because of better gas
But
mileage.
new cars
In-
sold or
culture,
existing
the whole
cars?
thing.
Both, yeah.
So interesting enough. All right, so I was listening to this NPR, and they were doing an investigative report as to why civilian traffic casualties. So basically, like you're walking down the road, you get hit and you die. Those types of casualties are up like some ridiculous percentage since COVID. It's like something like 30%, 40% increase in traffic, civilian traffic
Whoa.
casualties. Yeah, it's wild. And so they went in and they're trying to figure out like, why is this happening? And they're trying to source together different data pieces or whatever. One of the data pieces that they pointed to though, that I thought was really interesting, because in Europe, it's not like this at all, is that in America, it's like 10% of the cars on the road or 5% are manual transmission. Whereas in Europe, it's like something like 60 or 70% are manual transmission. And so their whole thing is like, if you have a manual transmission, you're much more likely to sort of be engaged with the car and more in the moment rather than like, I mean, I don't
part
know.
of the car,
Rich
you know.
drives a manual. Him and I both have a couple manual transmission trucks. Like you can't text and drive very easily with a manual transmission car driving around town. It's impossible. You can't do anything other than like really just drive.
It still happens.
It happens, but it's not something that I would say is like easy.
There's another element to it for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're definitely more one with the car and a little more aware. You have to be more aware of what's around you.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was an interesting data point when they brought that up. I was
It
like,
is interesting.
I mean, I love manual transmission cars. So much better to drive. MasterCard launches.
That was a pretty big digression. Let's get back to the fintech news.
All right.
We actually haven't even gotten into the fintech conversation.
Well, we started.
There's really not much this week, guys. I mean, Volt and Bumper bring open banking to car dealerships. So real-time payments platform Volt has partnered with Bumper to bring open banking to UK and European car dealerships. Bumper works with thousands of dealerships and garages, helping drivers pay for servicing and repairs. And Volt now powers Bumper's Pay Now function, enabling real-time payments for cars, parts, and repairs. That's cool. But you know what's cooler? I played golf with this dude the other day, Driftwood Country Club. By the way, incredible. He started his business back in like late 2000s, maybe like early 2010s. And what they do is they partner with car dealerships, and say you're a consumer going to buy a car, right? Nabs, you want to buy an Escalade, and the payment per month is like $2,000. And you're like, I can't cash flow $2,000 at the beginning of every single month. But if I broke that up into two $1,000 payments twice a month, I can cash flow that pretty easily. And so that's their product. So car dealers, they go in and they say, would you like this car? Like, yeah. And then they offer them this different payment plan, which just breaks their payment up into two separate payments when their paycheck comes in, automatically withdraws. And they make like $2 per transaction. It's all ACH. Anyways, I thought that was a brilliant business. It's massive.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's like such a great little niche.
But you'd think like Volt would, I mean, they'll probably do something like that.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, it's interesting because I wonder what the environment looks like in the UK, in the EU, in regards to how, like, the loan environment for cars? Is everybody loaning, or is there a higher percentage of cash buyers? Like, what's the real use of open banking there? I mean, I can imagine, you can verify assets. Cool, that's great. If you if you keep yourself, cash flow positive. But
yeah.
other than that, I'm not sure how much advantage you're really getting by bringing open banking to that industry.
So it says they're saying that like the integration offers mobile first payment options, providing a smoother experience for car dealerships. The partnership aims to address the challenges faced by dealership owners and has the potential to expand real-time payments in the automotive industry. But what I find odd, right? Well, you know how it works, right? Volt goes in, someone in the EU, UK, they log in and they authorize a push payment from their bank account to wherever once a month.
All based on
and it's
the
all
Payment
real-time.
Services Directive.
But what's funny is like they already have real-time payments at these dealerships if they wanted it. It's just SEPA and FPS, right?
Yeah.
Or SEPA
They just get
Instant
to
or whatever.
create a
FPS.
unified experience on their platform. So I wonder if maybe these car dealerships or these car companies are adding loan payments to their
It's probably that
their products, and then you can just do, like, let's say you could just do everything through Ford or whatever.
Like a
And you can
Right.
expand to supplier car parts, and you can sell this to the Jiffy Lubes of the world and all this, the product. Go down the street, you need a new water pump, they have their suppliers, and then you can have immediate payment for delivery instead of credit in the old school.
Yeah, but you could do it all through your dealership effectively.
That's true too. But how many people actually go to a dealership after the car's out of warranty?
I sure not a chance.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's a good point. But
But
maybe this is a strategy for them keeping.
Well, I'll say this:
people-
it depends on the car that you own.
Yeah.
Because with BMW, you should always buy an extended warranty at all times.
Yeah.
BMW. One of the greatest cars I've ever owned, and one of my least favorite cars I've ever owned. It's so weird.
So anyway, that's interesting though. I'd like to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
How they end up using it.
Let's see.
What else we got?
I don't know, man. It's really not a ton. This dude, Tom Blomfield, he talks about how he created $2 billion Fintech startups. This is the candid insight of Monzo and Go Cardless. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Nice. Yes, it's an ad for YC, but still worth the 14-minute runtime.
Is there any Route Fusion news? On the product side.
We had our
Anything
board
we
meeting
launched? Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah,
It was kind of just good meeting. Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. No, kind of run of the mill.
We did add a new board member though, which was awesome.
It
Yes.
was awesome.
We, for those of you that don't know, on the Route Fusion front, we added John Hammond as our new independent board member. What's cool is John used to be the CRO of Currency Cloud, one of our bigger competitors / partners. They got acquired by Visa in 2021 for $1 billion.
Wow, that's the whole.
Yeah.
That's the whole controversy, right?
Yeah, they got acquired for $1 billion, but then that's the
When the deal settled,
It was 980 million.
because
in
they didn't
USD,
hedge.
because they bought in pounds, right?
Missed it by
Are they funded in
that
pounds?
much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
So
But he's also formerly of Rackspace, Railser.
Yeah.
He's got a ton
that's
of
right.
John kills it. He's one of the best additions to the board that we could have made, I think.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a pretty light week. What do you think, Nabs, about what do you think? What's your call the ball here on what's going to happen today at the Supreme Court? Is Trump going to win his appeal?
I don't know. Are there originalists on the? Is the court populated by originalists or
I think I heard this.
textualists.
I think I heard this morning that there's like 2 originalists on the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And who reads the Constitution as a text or
Well, you know what
What's the word
you know what their argument is, like what they're going in the
which argument?
Trump,
Whose
well,
argument?
Trump, like Trump's big, like what they're really like trying to appeal on is, it's actually, it's cheeky because it's kind of I wouldn't say a childish argument, but it is definitely like a logical argument, which says that, I guess the 14th Amendment, or whatever that amendment says, it's for officers, and it was created for officers of the Confederate to not serve in the U.S., whatever. Well, they're saying that Trump was never actually an officer of the United States because he was elected. And what's interesting is at no point during his lifetime has he ever actually held an office within the federal government, whereas like every other president before him has actually been sworn in as an officer of the United States. And so that's what they're...
What do you mean? Like an officer as like a senator or
some ranking
what
of...
is it?
Yeah, whatever.
Military officer? Or are we talking...
I think officer...
Because most presidents go through the Senate, right? They're typically senators, sometimes governors.
Yeah, I think it's just like a position in the government.
Some government position
I think the
other than
result of
president.
today will be a non-answer. Basically, an answer that leaves the door open for something else.
How are we defining originalist?
I believe originalists would refer to the spirit of the Constitution, the spirit of Section 3, Article 14, I
Yeah.
guess. What was the spirit of the founders writing what they wrote, right?
Sure.
We
Yeah.
know it was in regards to the Confederacy and making sure that insurrectionists don't,
Right.
hold office again. But that's what I understand
Got it.
originalists to mean. And then you have the textualists, which I think read the text and
It's like strict interpretation versus loose
interpret
interpretation.
it that way
Yeah.
in black and white.
Yeah.
So
they said an officer of the United States is a functionary of the executive or judicial branches of the federal government of the United States to whom is delegated some part of the country's sovereign power. The term officer of the United States is not a title, but a term of classification for a certain type of official. So anyways, their argument...
Oh my gosh! So they're gonna be arguing about the definition of officer then.
Well, yeah, what they're saying is like, hey, he's not actually an officer because he was not appointed. He was an elected. Anyways,
Right.
So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I hope that they come out of the meeting with some sort of like definite answer.
yeah, that
because
would be good.
somebody was mentioning like if they punt, then they're like, oh, you know what, this is a political issue, and it goes to Congress, and Congress votes on it. Well, I think Congress is heavily one side right now, right? It's Democrat basically.
Yeah, but
Is that the House is Democrat and Senate is Republican,
I
so it's still
believe the House
split?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really follow politics that much, but
Isn't
Yeah,
it just
it wa-
51-49 though? I don't know.
so anyways,
It's typically.
And that means the vice president or something would be the last vote, tiebreaker. But does the vote have to pass by 60%? I don't know.
it's 2/3 majority for a law. I don't know.
I've only
I don't
been
want to get.
American
I don't.
for
Like,
40 years.
this
I don't
isn't how the government works,
We're
but
out of our realm.
I do hope that they come to a resolution today.
Once and for all.
Yeah,
I don't care
but
which way
man,
it goes.
if
just
they
make a
if
decision.
they rule,
Is this for a primary ballot? Is that what this is
it's
for?
to put him on the presidential.
For the primary.
ballot or not.
The primary ballot, though,
No,
because
Oh, so
we
the
already have
Colorado
states that are removing him from state
That's what
ballots.
this is about.
So this is the Colorado state ballot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
There's
their
another-
Supreme Court said he's disqualified because of his
So if
Right.
they
January 6th.
if
right?
they
right.
if they rule in favor of this and say like actually that's right, like they have the right to do that,
Yeah.
then like I think it's gonna be crazy. Every blue state.
Well, Maine already did it.
Well, but if they rule against it, then everyone has to remove it.
So wait, so this is federal then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it was Colorado.
Yeah. No, well, Trump's team appealed the Colorado decision to the Supreme
And
Court.
now it's got it. I see.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So it's gonna, anyways. It's gonna be an interesting. It's gonna be interesting today, actually.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because if they rule against it or in favor of it, and say, yeah, states are well within their rights to do this, I'm sure it opens up a whole bunch of crazy political things down the road. But in particular for this election, I feel like every predominantly blue state is going to remove him from the presidential.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be
think
insane.
There's some red states who still follow the Constitution tooth and nail. It might happen there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be blue states. People follow this Constitution. They cherish it.
It'll be
It'll
interesting.
be across the country.
But if they don't, then I mean I don't know what's gonna happen if they don't. It's just go back to normal.
So if they do say he's ineligible to be on the ballot, every Republican candidate is bowed out except for Nikki Haley. Does that mean that people will come back into the race, or Nikki Haley essentially wins the Republican nomination?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Right? So and Chris Christie's probably sitting there thinking, shit.
I like Chris
Wow,
Christie.
too early.
I like Chris Christie. He made my favorite comment that he made was about Vivek. It was rude, but it was funny how he said it.
Vivek's a bootlicker.
He was
Anyway.
he was like, come on guys, are we really taking Vivek seriously? Like Vivek's the guy that used to shove in the locker in high school. I was like, oh my gosh. You did not just say that. But then it made me laugh because I was like, yeah, all right.
So what does a Nikki Haley presidency, or Republican in that office, mean for fintech?
I had a customer the other day say that he said if Trump wins, he's like, I think it's good because I think the crackdown that the OCC is having is going to like ease up a little bit. That was his take, which was interesting. I don't know enough about Nikki Haley. I don't know enough about any of these people to tell you like what it's going to mean. But I think generally speaking, a Republican president ideally means less regulation. So, which would be helpful for all of us. But then on the
until we need it again, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a tough one.
who knows? Who knows?
I just keep telling people, I just want someone in there that knows what the hell they're doing.
I don't think
That's
any
it.
of them know what they're doing.
I don't think any of them do.
No.
What, with respect to fintech or running the country?
Running the country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, anyway. So,
Anyways, I mean, this has been a really light week.
I guess.
It's not a very juicy podcast. I mean, we did talk about politics, but there just wasn't a lot that happened in fintech.
Well, that's
this
the
week.
problem. We had to resort to talking about politics.
Yeah.
It's an important day, right? People want to, everyone has their attention on that globally.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a pretty
It's
important
not just
day.
an American thing, it's a Canadian thing.
'Cause this is
European
effectively
thing,
says,
UK
does
thing.
does Trump win the presidential election or not? Right?
He would never win anyway, head to head.
He's
Nikki Haley would win head to head. That's just a fact.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to.
I'm not gonna get
say
into it,
anything
but
confidently.
Yeah.
I don't
Not
have
really.
I don't have a horse in this race, as they say.
No.
But I think the primaries show that Trump would definitely win. That's just how it is.
I don't know what polls you're reading. Oh, the primaries, yes.
The primaries, right?
Yeah, that's a done deal, I think. I think Haley should still hang on, though. One out of all the candidates that entered, she's got the most experience.
I will say, like, she would be a cool first woman president.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think.
I think she'd do fine. She's smart. She's very smart.
We just need someone in there that's smart. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think that's kind of
not
the joke
crazy.
about politicians is they're
A
not
lot of them aren't very
not
smart.
very smart.
I guarantee you though that if it was Haley versus Biden, Haley wins in a landslide.
Wait, you think what?
Landslide. If it was Haley Biden for the presidency, Haley wins in a landslide.
Oh,
No
interesting.
matter what happens to the
Nabs
economy.
is calling the ball.
Is robust. It's really good right now. Everything's going in the right direction. But what's holding Biden back is age. That's it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
lost the
He's
step.
too old.
He's
He's
Can't-
lost the
he
step.
can't relate to the voters anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
I think everyone would agree. Like Biden has definitely lost the step.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
It's not his fault. He's
It's not his fault. It
he's
sucks to
105
see.
years old.
Yeah, it sucks to see. But
Oh, speaking of
can't deny it.
politics, like I really don't ever want this podcast to become a political thing.
No.
But I follow this guy on YouTube called Channel 5 News, and he's an independent journalist. He's awesome, and he did a story where he goes to Eagle Pass, Texas,
Oh yeah.
and crosses the border into Mexico, and then goes and meets up with a couple of coyotes, and documents the whole thing. It's all being, and they cross the border through the river to get back into the United States, and he documents the whole thing. And so the first part of it was like just all the things and like it's really good investigative journalism. And then it ends when they get down to the river, and he's like, tune in for, the second part of this video. So today in my office, I turned on TV, whatever, and there it was. And I was like, oh, I got to watch this. So they cross the river, right? He gets to the other side, and right when they get to the other side, Border Patrol ambushes them. They were like, we've been tracking you, infrared or whatever.
Yeah. So they did this in the middle of the night.
No, just middle of the day.
Middle of the day. Oh.
And yeah, so then he gets arrested,
Yeah.
right? Goes through the whole process. Luckily, his team's able to recover the camera and everything.
Yeah.
Turns out it's a felony to cross the border like unannounced or whatever. I don't know.
Of course.
To cross at like a.
Yeah, so now he's like
So he's a felon.
I mean, if he gets
Convicted.
convicted. I mean, he's a journalist. Like he was doing a story.
But he's an indicted felon right now.
Yeah. Insane. How cool is that though?
He should have checked with his lawyer. I could have
Yeah,
given him bad
I
advice.
know.
I get it, but like I just think it's
So you're saying I can't cross the border at an unmarked location between the U.S. and
So,
Canada?
so is the moral of
saying
the
that's a-
story that Border Patrol is doing a good job, or
no. I just thought it was so cool that this guy, investigative journalist, like how hardcore is that? Like he crossed the border, he met up with some coyotes, he paid the guys like they would say they were going to charge him $5,000, and he journaled the whole thing going across the border, and then gets detained by Border Patrol. I mean, it is the ultimate.
Ultimate experience.
Like-
He was probably like, he probably had a smile on his face as he was getting arrested.
He was detained for like 3 days. I do think though it's going to be interesting. Like, what do you do? Like, you got to hire a good attorney. Be like, look, man, I am an independent journalist. Like, give me a break. I'm showing the reality of what these migrants go through every single day. I mean, the amount of people that die too crossing the border.
Yeah.
Because it's only 4'9" deep, but apparently the undertow is so gnarly, and something like of the people crossing, only like 40% know how to swim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like an incredibly low number, and so like the amount of people drown every year, it's like thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah, it's insane. These coyotes they were talking about the whole time, they're just like, hey, like it's really sad watching people drown. Like we try our hardest not to let that happen, and I mean,
Holy cow.
it's wild. It's a whole. I mean, to cross the border, it's roughly 5,000 to 10,000, and then to get them to like take you to like San Antonio and like all these other places, it's like an additional like.
So are these
Double that.
coyotes, are they American citizens or are they
No, they're
Mexican nationals?
They're Mexican nationals, and like these guys, they don't even work for the cartel. So they, I guess, used to work with the cartel for border crossings, and then like they did such a good job that the cartel was like, yeah, go independent.
Huh.
Yeah, so these guys like have their own little independent thing, and they don't have to pay tax. I guess they have to probably pay like something. They gotta share the wealth a little bit with the cartel, but yeah, it's like I don't know, man. It was just a really gnarly experience to like I can't imagine. But it was also pretty amazing how fast Border Patrol got on them. I mean, just like that. But also I think like that's what migrants want. Ultimately, like getting taken into custody by the Border Patrol, they're not sending them back home. I mean, like, they're sanctuary.
They just detain them.
Yeah, and then they let them
But
loose.
they do send a percentage back. They don't let everyone. Well, it depends on the policy. It depends on the week, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I just thought the investigative journalism, which also brings up like honestly, the best news that I found is all on like YouTube independent creators doing this type of stuff.
I get all my news from TikTok and YouTube now. Telling you.
Anyways, well, I don't know if this is going to be a good episode. It's just kind of a.
But the point is that we did it.
Yeah, we sat here for the 4th week in a row on a Thursday. What's today? It's Thursday, February 8th at 10:39 a.m.
Do the Coyotes need FX? Dollar US, dollar max.
Probably. Well, you know what was hilarious? So Border Patrol is like, stay down, stay down, stay down. And the Coyotes just jumped back in the river and swam back across to Mexico.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, stop them, stop them. They just went back to
But
Mexico.
what are they going to do?
Yeah. Like, we'd rather be in here, man.
Right.
Well, what was interesting too, though, is like, they were saying, like, they're like, we don't understand why so many people are coming here. Like the Coyotes themselves, they're like, we used to live in America. Both of them did. And they're like, we didn't like it. He was like, it was just so much work. All we did was work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep. And he was like, and yes, the pay was higher. He was like, but then the total cost of living
is also higher.
was really high. And he's like, I have a better life in Mexico doing illegal border crossings.
You make $5,000 a person. Of course, you can have a better life in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty, I think it's closer to 10.
Wow.
It's good business.
And how are all of these migrants coming up with that much money per person? That doesn't.
Lifetime's worth of savings.
Yeah, I think it's like
Planning and sponsors.
savings. I'm sure there's some form of indentured servitude as well. I bet some of them
pay it off.
I bet some of them smuggle drugs. Like I bet like
Probably.
I could see them like.
Well, and I'm sure tons of people don't go through Coyotes. I'm sure they just go at it themselves.
I don't think so because all from what I gathered from this, all of the border crossings are owned by like different cartels. So like if you were down there,
Oh, really?
yeah, like you still have to pay like like it's like, you know, it's like anything. And so yeah, I don't think I really don't think people cross the border by themselves. Like I don't think that's I'm sure like a very small, like 1% or less than 1%, because it's a full on business.
Wow.
You have Senegalese, you have Indians, you have all sorts people from Guatemala, all sorts of people from all over the world are going to Mexico to cross the border into the United States.
It's wild.
It's so crazy.
Wow, there's a whole business
Like
around
he
it.
was interviewing like people from all over the globe.
No kidding.
It was so, I didn't realize that it was like that, which it also makes sense why people are saying like, you know, we need to secure the border, because you could make a really hard argument that like, you know, getting a terrorist or something like that across the border. But also, Border Patrol was on that dude so fast.
Yeah, but
So Anyways.
You need, as a sovereign nation, you need to have a border. Right?
Yeah, it's like
So,
a whole thing.
it's-
I don't
anyway,
know. I don't
it's
know. Once
tough.
again,
It's a
too much politics.
It's a tough scenario. Too much.
All right, guys. It is Thursday, February 8th at 10:42. We had almost nothing to talk about this week. I am sure we're going to lose at least one or two of our subscribers. But yeah,
But we'll be back next week with a better episode.
Yeah, this is interesting. Anyways, we will see you guys later. Who do we got over here? We got Nabil Cuddy Siddiqui. We got Rich the Scap Daddy Scapatici, and I'm Colton, and we're the Fintech Daddies. See you guys later.